President Biden's speech and thought I'd come live with you. And I'm listening in. He's about 10 minutes away. And let me just make sure we're good to go. How we doing, everybody? See, got a few minutes to let the room fill up here a little bit while we wait on President Biden. I don't know. Excuse me. I think I did something to my nose here. We got 17 in the room. Here he comes.
I promised when I got elected, I'd always give it to you straight from the shoulder. The good, the bad, the truth. So as we head into Christmas weekend, I want to answer your questions about the rising number of COVID-19 cases. And I want to start by acknowledging how tired, worried, and frustrated I know you are. I know how you're feeling. For many of you, this will be the first or even the second Christmas where you look across the table, will be an empty kitchen chair there. Tens of millions have gotten sick. We've all experienced upheaval in our lives. But while COVID has been a tough adversary, we've shown that we're tougher. Tougher because we have the power of science and vaccines that prevent illness and save lives. And tougher because of our resolve. So that, let me answer some questions that lay out the steps the Vice President and I are taking to prepare for the rising number of cases experts tell us we can expect in the weeks ahead. First, how concerned should you be about Omicron, which is now the dominant variant in this country, and it happened so quickly?
Not at all.
The answer is straightforward. If you're not fully vaccinated, you have good reason to be concerned. You're at a high risk of getting sick. And if you get sick, you're likely to spread it to others, including friends and family.
No, you don't.
And the unvaccinated have a significantly higher risk of ending up in a hospital or even dying. Almost everyone who has died from COVID-19 in the past many months has been unvaccinated. Unvaccinated.
No, they haven't.
If you're among the majority of Americans who are fully vaccinated,
You're wrong.
and especially if you've gotten the booster shot, that third shot, you have much less reason to worry. You have
More
a high
reason to
degree
worry.
of protection against severe illness. But because Omicron spreads so easily,
He can't even say
we'll
it.
see some fully vaccinated people get COVID, potentially in large numbers. There will be positive cases in every office, even here in the White House, among the vaccinated from Omicron.
They should have figured out a
But
better
these cases
word
are highly
that he could
unlikely
pronounce.
to lead to serious illness. Vaccinated people who get COVID may get ill, but they're protected from severe illness and death. That's why you should still remain vigilant.
How is there
According to
vaccine
our
against
doctors,
Omicron, Joe?
Even if you're fully vaccinated, you should wear a mask when indoors and in public settings. Wearing a mask provides extra protection for you and those around you. And I know some Americans are wondering if you can safely celebrate the holidays with your family and friends. The answer is yes, you can. If you and those who celebrate with are vaccinated, particularly if you've got your booster
those
shot.
of you
If
and
you
your
are
loved ones are
vaccinated
vaccinated,
and
people.
follow the precautions
Otherwise,
that
you
we all
can't
know
have
well, you should feel comfortable
fun
celebrating
holiday.
Christmas and the holidays as you planned it. You know, you've done the right thing. You can enjoy the holiday season.
We've done the right
Thanks
thing
to the progress
by
in
not getting
vaccinations this
vaccinated.
fall, we've gone from nearly 90 million adults in July who had not even started their vaccination process to fewer than 40 million today. Still too many, but down from 90 to 40. All these people who have not been vaccinated, you have an obligation to yourselves, to your families, and quite frankly, I'm not only criticized for this, to your country. Get vaccinated now. It's free. It's convenient.
Free.
I promise you, it saves lives.
I promise
And
you.
I honest to God believe it's your patriotic duty.
It's your
Another
patriotic
question
duty. Fuck
folks
you.
are asking
Biden.
is, what can you do to make
Unbelievable.
yourself and your family feel safer and be safer? The answer is simple. Get your booster shot. Wear a mask. Our doctors have made it clear. Booster shots provide the strongest of protections. Unfortunately, we still have tens of millions of people who are eligible for the booster shot but have not yet gotten it. They've gotten the first two shots, but they've not gotten the booster. Folks, The booster shots are free and widely available. Over 60 million Americans, including 62% of eligible seniors, our most vulnerable group, have gotten their booster shots. I got my booster shot as soon as they were available. And just the other day, former President Trump announced he had gotten his booster shot.
Oh, now he's going to do what Trump does?
Agree on. People with booster shots are highly protected. Join them. Join us. It's been 6 months or more since my second shot. If it's been 6 months or more for your second shot when I got my booster, you can get yours today. It's been 6 months or more since your second shot. Another question that folks are asking is, are we going back to March 2020? Not this last March 2021, but March 2020, when the pandemic first hit. That's what I keep getting asked. The answer is absolutely no. No. There are three big differences between then and now.
Free, you get what you pay for.
Number
Yeah,
one,
exactly.
First one. More than 200 million Americans have been fully vaccinated. In March 2020, no one was fully vaccinated. What that means is today, a case of COVID-19 for fully vaccinated and boosted person will most likely mean no symptoms or mild ones similar to the common respiratory viruses. Over 200 million Americans should have the peace of mind that they did not have in March of 2020. They're protected from hospitalization, and they're protected from death. Second point, we're prepared today for what's coming. In March of 2020, we were not ready. Today, we stockpiled enough gowns, masks, and ventilators to deal with the surge of hospitalizations among the unvaccinated.
Gowns.
Today, we're ready.
Good, they got those
And as
gowns.
I'll explain in a few minutes,
keep us
we're
safe.
going to be reinforcing our hospitals, helping them. Number three, we know a lot more today than we did back in March of 2020. For example, last year, we thought the only way to keep your children safe was to close our schools. Today, we know more and we have more resources to keep those schools open. You can get 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated, a tool we didn't have until last month.
Children.
Today, we don't have to shut down schools because of the case of COVID-19. Now, if a student tests positive, other students can take the test and stay in the classroom if they're not infected, rather than closing the whole school or having to quarantine. We can keep our K through 12 schools open. That's exactly what we should be doing.
We don't want them open. They
So,
suck.
folks, let me summarize. We should all
pushing
be concerned about
Stupid
Omicron,
shit. Socialism.
not panic.
CRT.
If you're fully vaccinated,
11
and
genders.
especially if you got your booster shot, you are highly protected. And if you're unvaccinated, you're at a higher risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19, getting hospitalized, and even dying. So the best thing to do is get fully vaccinated and get your booster shot.
Why don't they
And
talk
no,
about the best thing to
this
do?
is not March of 2020.
Build your immune system.
200 million people are fully
They don't
vaccinated.
have a vaccine against
We're
Omicron.
prepared. We know more.
They don't know how to find
Just have to stay
Omicron. They don't
focused.
know how to find COVID.
So that's where we stand. Now let me tell you about the additional steps
Yeah.
I'm ordering today to take on
Here we go.
what is coming. I know
Here
you've
we
heard a lot
go.
of this in
You
the
ready?
news
Put your
already.
seatbelts on, everybody.
3 weeks ago, I laid out a COVID-19 action plan for this winter that prepared us for this moment. Today, we're making the plan even stronger.
First time he's ever been
we're
prepared.
setting up our vaccination and booster efforts. We're stepping it up significantly. In the past 2 weeks, we've seen the highest vaccination rates since last spring. And we aren't as vaccinated as a country as we should be, though. That's why we have added 10,000 new vaccination sites on top of the 80,000 sites that we already had in place. And even more will open in January. You know, there's some parts of this country where people are very eager to get their booster, where it's harder to get an appointment, excuse me. So starting this week, I'll be deploying hundreds more vaccinators and more sites to help get the booster shots in people's arms. I've ordered FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, to stand up new pop-up vaccination clinics all across the country where you can get that booster shot. We've opened excuse me, we're over FEMA vaccination sites in Washington State and New Mexico, recently as cases have increased. And today, I'm directing FEMA to stand up new sites in areas where there is a high demand.
James, take the red pill.
These steps are going to help us add more and more booster appointments and just over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I also want to say a word to parents.
Was that a comm?
If your children are not vaccinated,
Parents.
please get them vaccinated.
You
If you're
tell
a
me how to parent,
family
Joe.
who waited to see how the first shots went with other kids
Let's look.
before getting your own kids
Let's listen to
vaccinated,
Joe tell us how to
stop waiting.
parent. Look at his kid.
6 million children in our country, ages 5 to 11, are vaccinated. Get your children protected today.
Yeah.
Now.
We should listen to Joe like we
Those
listen to
parents
Dr.
out there
Spock.
who have a child that's too young to be vaccinated, that is under the age of 5, I know this can still be a scary time.
No.
But one thing you can and must do while we await vaccines for children under 5, get yourself fully vaccinated and boosted, as well as those around you.
We're going to talk about Illinois explosion.
Siblings. It's critical to mask up in public indoor places. We know that our youngest children have only rarely been impacted by serious COVID-19 cases. But they can be further protected if they're surrounded by vaccinated people. And again, to folks who are not vaccinated, you might think you're putting only yourself at risk, but it's your choice. Your choice is not just a choice about you. It affects other people. You're putting other people at risk. Your loved ones, your friends, neighbors, strangers you run into. And your choice can be the difference between life or death.
Yeah,
The longer
you're right
the
about
virus is
that.
around,
That's the first thing you've been
more
right
likely
about.
variants form that may be deadlier than the ones that have come before. Let me say again and again and again and again, please get vaccinated.
Let me not listen to you again.
It's the only
and again and
responsible
again and
thing to
again.
do. Those
It's
who are
the
not
only
vaccinated are causing
responsible thing to
hospitals to
do.
become overrun again.
Yeah.
This spoke to the governor of New York. Every COVID-19 hospital means someone with a heart attack, cancer, or other serious illness may not get that bed and that life-saving care they need in the hospital.
Yeah, that's what you want,
Look,
a
let me
bed
give
in the
it to you
hospital.
straight again. Omicron is serious, potentially deadly business for unvaccinated people. Let me be clear. Thanks to the prior administration and our scientific community, America is one of the first countries to get the vaccine. Thanks to my administration and the hard work of Americans, we led a rollout, made America among the world leaders in getting shots in arms. But uptake slowed this summer as vaccine resistance among some hardened. Look, the unvaccinated are responsible for their own choices.
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Those choices have been fueled by dangerous misinformation on cable TV and social media.
Cable TV? Are you serious?
These companies and personalities are making money by peddling lies and allowing misinformation that can kill their own customers and their own supporters.
How about the pharma-owned
wrong.
mainstream media?
It's immoral.
Moral.
Calling the purveyors of these lies and misinformation to stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it now.
Stop it now. Stop it now.
One of the other things that we know that has to be done is
my
more
God.
testing.
My neighbors are
Omicron
coming for
spreads
me,
easily,
Deb. Oh my God.
especially among the unvaccinated. It's
shouldn't
critically
laugh. It's
important that we
probably
know
serious.
who's infected. That means we need more testing.
Oh, here we
On
go.
that score, we're now where we should be. Yes, we have over 20,000 free testing sites. Yes, we've used the Defense
Where we get your
Production Act
DNA.
and spent $3 billion to greatly expand the number of at-home tests available for purchase online and at your local pharmacy. And yes, we made sure insurance covers the PCR tests you get in the hospital or at your doctor's office.
And yes,
But
yes.
starting next month, private insurance will also cover at-home testing. So you can order a test online and get reimbursed. We're providing access to free at-home tests for those who may have insurance as well, may not have insurance, I should say, as well. But it's not enough. We have to do more. We have to do better. And we will. Starting this week, the federal
Here we go.
government will set up emergency
Federal
testing
government.
sites
Emergency
in areas
testing
that need
sites.
additional testing capacity.
Except in Florida, because they're
Before
not needed
Christmas,
in
First,
Texas.
several of these federal testing sites will
Where
be up and
people are
running in
going
New York
massless.
City, with many more to come. This free testing is going to help reduce the waiting lines, the time you have to stand there, and sometimes it's an hour or more. We're going to continue to add federal testing sites where needed, so that if you want an immediate test, there'll be a place where you can go get it. We also need to do better with at-home testing. So I'm announcing today, the federal government will purchase $500 million, that's not million, billion with a B, additional at-home
billion with
rapid
a B.
tests with
Wow.
delivery starting in January. We'll be getting these tests to Americans for free. And we'll have websites where you can
Wow.
get them delivered to your home.
Oh, wow.
We've arranged for it to be
Delivered to our
easier
home.
for you to find a free COVID testing site near you on Google. Just enter COVID test near me in the Google search bar, and you can find a number of different locations nearby where you can get tested. We're going to continue to use the Defense Production Act, as we did earlier this month, to make sure we're producing as many tests and as quickly as possible. The bottom line is it's a lot better than it was. But we're taking even more steps to make it easier to get tested. and
Yeah,
get
no, I
tested
don't
for
think
free.
so. Not
Next,
even close.
we're preparing hospitals for what's coming. Those
No
40
one got fooled,
unvaccinated
Susie.
adults
No
have
one
a
got
good
fooled.
chance of getting COVID-19. And some of you will get very sick. That'll mean hospitals are going to get extremely stressed again, both in terms of equipment as well as personnel to care for those who get sick. That's why my administration has stockpiled and pre-positioned millions of gowns, gloves,
Gowns. We got the
masks,
gowns.
and ventilators.
It's got to be a
called
con.
PPP. We're ready to send them immediately to any state that needs more.
I need some gowns.
In
You guys
addition,
need
I've
gowns?
directed the Pentagon to mobilize an additional 1,000 troops to be deployed to help staff local hospitals and expand capacity. That's 1,000 military doctors, nurses, and medics. We've already started moving medical teams. They've already landed in Wisconsin and Indiana this week. This is on top of 300 federal medical personnel that are now on the ground, having deployed since we learned about Omicron. Look, while we know staffing is the biggest need for hospitals, some may need more beds as well. We're prepared. I've directed FEMA to activate the
I
National
like when the
Response Center
shoulders go back.
and begin deploying teams now to provide additional hospital beds. We'll begin to construct emergency capacities near
Additional
hospitals,
hospital beds. And
and
we're going to
parking
continue to
garages, and
fire
nearby
nurses and
buildings to be
doctors who
ready
don't
if
take the
needed.
jab. Yeah. What happened? Oh my God. Did we lose the feed? Hold on.
This week, we'll send dozens of ambulances to New York and Maine because the COVID is spreading very rapidly.
Here we go
To help
again.
transport patients. Our doctors, nurses, hospital staffs have gone above and beyond during this pandemic. The strain and stress is real. I really mean it. It's real. And we'll have their
Yeah.
backs, though. We have to let them know we have their backs. Finally, we're making sure that COVID-19 no longer closes businesses or schools. Last week, the federal court reinstated my administration's vaccination or test. The vaccination or test rule
I don't know
for
what's going on.
businesses.
Now they're going to play an ad.
Being a victim of identity.
I don't know why this jumped off. Hold on. Not like we're missing much, but my apologies for this being cut off here. And then, of course, they come back with an ad.
That I have.
Find out how
LifeLock.
LifeLock can help protect you. Go to lifelock.com.
Honestly, I don't think they
stories.
like that we're busting his balls here. Come on, LifeLock. What the hell? What's going on? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Come on. Sorry.
Rule is legal and effective. It's going to save thousands of American lives. Must also keep our K-12 schools open. Look, the science is clear and overwhelming.
Don't take
We
the
know how to
jab.
keep our kids safe from COVID-19 in school. K through 12 schools should be open. And that safety is increased if schools require all adults who work in the schools to get vaccinated and take the safety measure that the CDC has recommended, including masking. I got Congress to pass billions of dollars in school improvements, ventilation and social distancing. Schools should be safer than ever from COVID-19. And just Friday, the CDC issued a test to stay guidelines. So schools can stay open and kids can stay in class even if a classmate
Come on now.
ready. We'll get through this. As we head into the holidays, I want us to all keep the faith. I want to sincerely thank you for your perseverance, your
faith
courage,
to be
your countless acts of kindness,
discerning
love, and
From
sacrifice
bullshit.
during these last 2 years. Throughout our history, we've been tested as a people and as a nation through war and turmoil. We had to ask whether we'd be safe, whether we'd be okay, whether we'd get back to who we are. We've always endured because remember, there is no challenge too big for America. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. No challenge. We've come through better and stronger because we stay together as the United States of America. That's what we have to keep doing today.
That's what I get for
We can do
doing
this together.
AOL.
I guarantee you. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
May God protect our troops. Well, God needs to, because you sure as hell don't. Did he really say that?
Public health officials have been saying for months you need to surge rapid tests for just this moment. Is it a failure that you don't have an adequate amount of tests for everyone to be able to get one if they need one right now?
No, it's not, because COVID is spreading so rapidly. If you notice, it just happened almost overnight, just in the last month.
What's your message?
Mr. President. So, no, it's not a failure. But the alarm bell went off. I don't think anybody anticipated that this was going to be as rapidly spreading as it did. And so the question is, we had a lot of people who have access to tests, who could order them, could have their insurance pay for them, et cetera. But all of a sudden, it was like everybody rushed to the counter. It was a big rush. And I knew that.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Get them to their homes, get them on the shelves in the store. I mean, so that's what it's all about. Yes.
Mr. President, what's your message to Americans who are trying to get tested now and who are not able to get tested and who are wondering what took so long to ramp up testing?
Come on, what took so long?
That's what I'm hearing that from people who are trying to get tested now before the holidays.
Well, what took so long, it didn't take long at all. What happened was the Omicron virus spread even more rapidly than anybody thought. If I had told you 4 weeks ago that this would spread by a day-to-day basis, it would spread by 50, 100%, 200%, 500%. I think you would have looked at me and said, Biden, what are you drinking? But that's what it did. Now, we don't know what's going to happen from here. It looks there's some evidence that in South Africa, where a lot of this started, that it's dropping off quickly, too. We don't know. But I do know that we're not going to be in a position, like I said, when remember we were having a problem with masks and gowns and the like? I said, I promise you. Remember the criticism? I got questions from some of you. Why are you still paying for all these masks and gowns? Why are you stockpiling this?
When did the gowns come into
know.
play?
Turns out we're going to need it. In the back and then...
Does it work, sir? And will you reverse the travel ban now that Omicron is so prevalent here in the U.S.?
I'm considering reversing. I'm going to talk with my team in the next couple of days. Look, remember why I said we put the travel ban on, is to see how much time we had before it hit here so we could begin to decide what we needed by looking at what's happening in other countries. But we're past that now. And so it's something that is being raised with me by the docs, and I'll have an answer for that soon.
President,
You talked about the importance of keeping your word of trust. Do you believe Senator Manchin kept his word to you? And how do you rebuild trust with progressives in your party to advance your legislation now?
You know, I told you before, you've heard me say this before, some people think maybe I'm not Irish because I don't hold a grudge. Look, I want to get things done. I still think there's a possibility of getting Build Back Better done. What I don't want to do is get into, and Joe went on TV today, and I don't know whether it's TV or not, I'm told he was speaking to the Liberal caucus in the House and said, Joe Biden didn't mislead you, I misled you. And so look, I'm not looking for, let me say something. You saw what happened yesterday. All the talk about how my Build Back Better plan was going to increase inflation, going to cause these debts and all the like. What happened? Goldman Sachs and others said, if we don't pass Build Back
Finally
Better, we're
made
in
it
trouble.
public on
Because it's going to
Facebook.
grow the
Sorry.
economy. Without it, we're not going to grow. And what happened? Stock prices went way down. It took a real dip. If you take a look, everybody thinks because I quoted 17 Nobel laureates saying this is going to help inflation. Think about it in terms of you're a hard-working person and you're making 60 grand if you're alone, or your mom are just on her own, or if you're making 80 grand, mom and dad 90 grand like a lot of people do, and you're worried about inflation, you should be worried about it because it's a devastating thing for people who are working class and middle class folks. It really hurts. Where is most of the cost now? The cost is finding in gasoline, even though I was able to bring it down 12 cents a gallon, will come down more, I believe. We talked about what the cost in food prices going up, et cetera. But look what's in Build Back Better. Child care. You can reduce it by up to 70%. That'll be the difference between 20 million women who aren't back in the workforce being able to go back if you pass it. We're talking about health care, insulin. In a situation, we got 200,000 kids with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, so provide insulin for free.
You know what it's costing? It cost somewhere between 10 cents and $10 to come up with a formula, okay, a while ago, right? You know what it's costing on average? $560, $640 a month, up to $1,000 a month. What do you do if you're a mom and a dad working with minimum wage, busting your neck? You look at your kid, and you know if you don't get that vaccine for him, if you don't get that drug for him, if you don't get be able
The
to
vaccine's
take it,
free, but why not make
what
the
happens?
insulin free?
They're likely to go into a coma, maybe die. Not only do you put the kid's life at stake, you strip away all the dignity of a parent looking at their child. I'm not joking about this. Imagine being a parent.
Imagine being
Looking
a
at a
parent.
child and you can't afford. You have no house to borrow against. You have no savings.
That's inflation that you're
wrong.
causing. Yeah.
But all the things
Price
in
of
that
gas.
bill are going to reduce prices.
Climate change. Let's
cost
take care
for
of that.
middle
Let's not
class
take
and
care of our
working class
children's
people.
insulin.
It's going to reduce their costs. What's inflation? Having to pay more than the money you have because things have gone up. Well, bring down all those costs across the board from child care to a child care tax credit. But I'm not supposed to be having this press conference.
Mr. President, did Senator Manchin break his commitment to you? When you announced the framework, the White House says that all 50 senators were believed to get behind it, all 50 Democratic senators. So did Senator Manchin break his commitment to you?
Senator Manchin and I are going to get something done. Thank you.
Are you still the car with the contacts on it? Sir, do you still have the car with the decks?
Ukraine, sir.
Don't answer the many, many questions that people actually have about the stupid shit you just said. This is, folks, if I spoke daily as he does, and you still showed up to listen to me, I would seriously question your intelligence. This is, here's a guy who just, first of all, is incoherent. We know that. And isn't making any sense, isn't using actual facts, isn't talking about any immunity or anything like that. So do you see how this is absolutely set up in a way that anybody that listens to this man really needs to start questioning their intelligence? Can you think of a better way to wake people up than to, have him be your spokesperson? Have him be the guy thank you, Tammy. Sorry about the technological issues, but missing out on his speeches isn't that big a deal, is it? Tragic that that so many people are buying into what he's saying versus buying into what doctors that aren't bought and paid for and controlled are saying. One of the things that they're trying to communicate to us is that if we're not getting the jab, we're not following the science. I'm absolutely following the science, folks. I'm not some hippie dude that just is going to live off the land and, hey, don't need a doctor, people. Doctor's the devil. No, get away, get away. Hey, no, I love doctors. There's doctors out there doing incredible things for humanity. But you got to find the right doctor, okay? You got to find the right doctor. There's I'll give you an example. If you're a basketball player or a professional athlete, you have to find an agent if you want to get into the NBA, for example, if we're talking basketball, right? The agent can only make a percentage of what you as the player make. The problem is that we're finding these agents, but they're not bound by an obligation or a fiduciary responsibility to us. And I'm talking about politicians. I'm talking about local, state, federal, teachers unions, hospitals, doctors, et cetera, all that make up this pandemic. They don't have a fiduciary responsibility to you and me and our children. They have a fiduciary responsibility and are getting benefited by the very companies that make the vaccines, the very companies that are making tens and hundreds of billions of dollars off these vaccines. And so it would be like, me trying to negotiate a contract as a player with the Los Angeles Lakers, but my agent is getting paid on the side by the Lakers to accept a lesser contract. okay? Because and that's exactly what's happening is we can't be listening to the agents that we know have a fiduciary or are don't have a fiduciary responsibility to us, and they have an obligation to the Lakers or the Celtics or these pro teams, because these doctors they're getting paid by the pharmaceutical companies. They've learned their whole infrastructure has been a set up by the Rockefeller allopathic medicine model that points everything back to the drug. Oh, you've got this, let's find a drug for you. You have this, let's find a drug for you. You're over here, let's find this drug for you. And then those drugs cause other problems that we have another drug for you and another drug for you. And none of it is about a doctor telling you, go get some exercise, some sunshine, some fresh air, go to the beach, spend time with your family, take some rest. How many doctors prescribe don't work, stay off media? None of these doctors are doing that. Why? Because most of them are pimps for the pharmaceutical companies. Because every time they write a script, they get paid. Or they get paid to write a certain amount of scripts. You write a certain amount of scripts, we'll take you to Mexico to Cancun. We'll pay your way to a conference. And that was so prevalent that just recently they've had to come up with laws that say you can't do that. But that was up until very recently. So now they find other ways to do it. So, what better way, my friends, to wake us up to the pharma mafia than to put a fool like this in front of us and talking the way he does? You'd be surprised how many people aren't buying this, right? And that's what we gotta focus on. So at any rate, a couple things. One of the reasons I wanted to come live, and Todd, Cindy, if you guys are listening, if you wanted to call in, there was a huge boom in central Illinois today, and let me see, mysterious sonic boom in central Illinois was from overhead fighter jet, officials say. Okay. Now I can't imagine that it was a fighter jet. Todd heard it. We'll find out more about that tonight if he doesn't call in. But, one of the things that comes to mind is, 12/21/12. Is it something connected to, if we stayed off media, we wouldn't watch you, Dave. That's got to be the right media and in doses, right? Just, Sned head, and head Sned at 5 hours at a time. That's my prescription, my friends, for you. That's my prescription. And it reached Branson, Missouri. Mindy, really? So that's a sonic boom? I don't think so. Okay? I don't think so. So is it, we need 3 booms, right, Mark? So I don't think, is it, how much of this do we look beyond? And I just want to put this out there to be aware. People are talking about, coming ascension. They're talking about, are we going to see a Project Bluebeam event, major event, major scare event that Q talks about? What do we thank you, blessings, 111, 1111. So just be aware and be, kind of think through things, right? And don't fear. Here's the thing: have food, have water, have weapons, have ammo, have energy. If you're in a cold place, have your generator, have some gas, have ways, have your flashlights, have your candles. You never know what's going to happen, my friends. It could be a natural disaster. That could very easily could have been some kind of an earthquake that caused major, major problems, right? And maybe shut off your power, shut off your water, what have you. Just be prepared for being free from the government and not needing the government, not needing a, whose yawn did I caught somebody's yawn. Whose was it? Come on, fess up. That you don't need a supermarket for 4 days, 5 days, right? At least. I think much more. So, but basically, and have your meds. Absolutely, good call. Have your meds, whatever meds. Get some extra. Have those on the side, right? Again, there's the doctor thing. Hey, there's some good doctors out there prescribing some necessary medications, okay? And, could everything be, cured with natural remedies? Possibly, but you can't find that out when you have, life-saving, medication that you're taking, right? So, at any rate, so this mysterious boom, okay, happened. So keep an eye out for other booms. I don't think it was a sonic boom because it was just too damn big. I don't know if anybody caught a video. If anybody has video of that, please let me know. Or send it to me, davesnet@gmail.com. But anyway, I just wanted to come on during my my lunch break here with you folks, and also I want to point you to something that Scott just sent me on Mr. Poole, which I think is significant. Let me find what I did with that. Let me see. What did I do with that? Let me try that again. But it's Mr. Poole, and Mr. Poole is doing some interesting comms, to say the least. And one of the things that has been coming up as of late is the 12/22/21. This Mr. Poole put up on 12/18/21. Now, Mr. Poole isn't somebody that we think is on the inside necessarily, but of Q, but definitely doing some great breakdowns. Look at the mask lie, the post, the timestamp. So, following the timestamp 9:58. They are scared, 4 a.m., they will fall. We know the details Wednesday. Now, if you remember, Todd and I have talked about, we think things would go down on a Wednesday or a Friday based on the comms that we've been given. And here's another 12:43 timestamp, or a 12:43 timestamp, which adds up to 3:43. Also, 12/22/21, 122 and 221 adds up to 3:43. Okay. Military public start December 22nd is a 3:43 gematria. The end was written at the beginning equals 3:43. Okay. We've talked about how the Q timestamps are going backwards, and how the first is the last and the last is the first. Think biblical, right? And also just pulling up the Q. Let's see if there's anything on 3:43, and see what pops up there. 3:43 was December 13th, 2017. You are learning News Unlocks Map, Future Proves Past. Not everything can be stated one-to-one. That's been code to say we're not going to tell you everything straight up. We're going to, kind of give it to you, sideways, right? Not everything can be stated one-to-one. Q can't come, and this is from an Anon. Q can't come out and tell us exact meetings of his drops, likely because it would reveal information that would compromise operations as the scumbags scramble to clean up loose ends that are revealed. Hence the 1.2 million, which we thought were 1.2 million normies reached by this board, when the 1.2 million was actually the 1.2 million documents in the IG report, which the scumbags had no clue about. And then Q confirms that by saying bad people watching, right? Bad people watching. And then just check out 92. And this is a different comm than what I would do or what Todd would do. But it's always good to try new things. 789. Let's see. Global Ambassador, Bill and Melinda Gates, Microsoft, Google, Epic. Oh, fuck, this page says it's sponsored by Bill Gates. Fucking Google, Epic. Looks like the Russian Gannett thing. Walnut sauce sign that the autists dug up. Walnut sauce, which is a pedo term. Gannett is also located in McLean, Virginia. Coincidence? Just the tip. McLean, Virginia is the home of the CIA. Okay? Actually, Langley, Virginia, but you enter the CIA from Dolly Madison Boulevard in McLean, Virginia. And then you get to 343 and then down to 92. November 5th, 2017. Seth Rich only mentioned because it directly relates to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia just popped up with bin Salman. Supposedly in Las Vegas, Christy and I were talking this morning. She thought that the assassination attempt may have been on bin Salman in Las Vegas. What hotel did the reported gunfire occur from? What floor specifically? Who owns the top floors? The top floors were owned by Al-Walid, who funded Obama at Harvard and is a bad player in Saudi Arabia and possibly taking out the crown prince bin Salman. Why is that relevant? What was the shooter's name? What was his net worth? He was nobody. How do you identify a spook? What can historical data? And I want to take you, by the way, to our show notes from last night and what we had showing up there. Let me take you. Let me do this. Add another account. Wait a minute. Let me take you there real quick, and then I got to get going. I got some work to do. Why is it dumping me here? I don't want to be here. It keeps dumping me back in the wrong account. I had to clear my cache because of the video issues. I want to make sure it wasn't on my end. And let me take you to the drive. Let me take you to last night's show. Folks, if you go to IndoctriNATION.com and go to the drive, here we go. Or go to the show notes, I'm sorry. This was the wrong one, wasn't it? No, this is right. Okay, let me take you to the gentleman in the memes that we had last night. And what's his name? Guys, can you remind me that what this clown's name is, literally? So he gets about 400 pounds of equipment up 30 floors, sets up a concealed sniper nest, disarms fire alarms and other security systems in place at a casino, by the way. Removed a window that's 800 pounds of hurricane-proof glass, then for 10 minutes rained in aimed firepower, all with no training whatsoever, with no motive. Okay? This is what we call lone gunman patsy. Okay? Stephen Paddock, right? Stephen Paddock. Thank you, Amy. Thank you all. Stephen Paddock. Paddock the patsy, right? Paddock is a prison, yeah? Or let me go to definition. The meaning of paddock, usually enclosed area used especially for pasturing or exercising animals. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking more of a padlock, actually. An enclosure where racehorses are saddled and paraded before a race. An often enclosed field, an area and an automobile race course where racing cars are parked. Okay. So this is exercising animals, right? And here's your animal. Here's your clown, right? Stephen Paddock. And how do you identify a spook? They're basically saying he's CIA. What can historical data collection reveal? Was there any eyewitnesses? Who? Was he registered as a security guard? Why is MS-13 important? What doesn't add up? Was there only one shooter? I've told you that I've interviewed people that were there that said there were more than one shooter. Why was JFK released, meaning the files? What do the JFK files infer? That there was not one shooter, that there was a conspiracy. Was there only one shooter? No. Who was in Las Vegas during this time? So bin Salman and Trump. What was the real mission? Speculate. Why are survivors dying randomly? Because they're eyewitness survivors. What do each of these survivors have in common? Did they talk on social media? Yes. What did they say? They said there were multiple shooters. Were they going to form a group? Yes. Why is this relevant? How did they die? You know, suspicious circumstances, heart attacks, suicides, all kinds of things, and then they can blame it on they were so grief-stricken from what happened in Vegas. Also, what CIA report was released by WikiLeaks? What can control a car? Also, car crashes. They can take control of a car, and that's what they did to Michael Hastings, and that's what I believe they did with the gentleman from Fast and Furious. Paul Walker. How does this connect to Saudi Arabia? What just happened in Saudi Arabia? Who owns the top floors of the hotel? What happened today in Saudi Arabia? To who specifically? Okay, this is when they took over the bad players. Was POTUS in Las Vegas that night? Yes. Why was he there? Probably to meet with Salman. Who did he have a classified meeting with? Salman. Did Air Force One land at McCarran? What unmarked tail numbers flew into McCarran that night? Trace Air Force One that entire day. What do you notice? Classified. Okay. This was a meeting to take out the bad players of the kingdom, in my opinion, and that's why that's all so very important. And what led us there today? Things are going down. Saudi Arabia was the takedown of one side of the triangle. Saudi Arabia was a takedown of one side of the triangle. Okay. Walker, I think, was. I heard that he was going to expose some of the pedo behavior in Hollywood, just like Chester Bennington was, just like Chris Cornell was, just like Prince knew about, Michael Jackson knew about, so many people knew about, but anyway, that's what I heard, and I can't remember, Doc Holliday's, I can't remember who made that claim. If you guys want to look into that, the Paul Walker murder, you can, but even if I didn't have Paul Walker, there's plenty of evidence to show. Robin Williams, yep. There's plenty of evidence to show that there was definitely Michael Hastings. I actually went to Michael Hastings' site of his crash and talked to eyewitness people, and also investigated the where he hit the tree and how fast he hit the tree, and the engine was thrown 150 feet back, and the witnesses said the explosion happened before he hit the tree, and the engine came out of the car 150 feet before he hit the tree. And he was texting and saying he had to go underground for a little bit because he was doing a piece on the FBI. And that was before everybody realized how corrupt the FBI is. So yeah, maybe Tiger, maybe what do you call it? What do you call it? Kobe. My friends, this is basically, the closer you get, the more desperate these folks are, the more they're exposed. And the more they're exposed, the more people they have to silence, right? So I don't believe Robin Williams killed himself either. Yeah. I believe everybody that kills himself should immediately be marked a homicide until all of the suspects, all of the witnesses, all of the investigation has been completed, and then go to suicide. Do you know how much suicide saves? A couple things. One, I've always felt that there is a connection here. If you have by the way, I would never commit suicide, ever, ever, ever. I say that every once in a while on this show, as does Todd and Cindy, because of the things that we cover. And we would never, ever, ever, ever commit suicide. But the reason why they do that is because I believe that there are ties between the insurance companies and coroners and police departments. Because if you have a life insurance policy for $1 million and you're murdered, okay, your family would get that $1 million, okay? If you committed suicide, your family doesn't get that $1 million, okay? So that life insurance company just saved $1 million. Count the amount of suicides every year and just think to yourself, if 10% of them weren't actually suicides, okay, and were actual murders made to look like suicides. Everybody watches TV, folks. Everybody watches these cop shows, these detective shows, these NCIS and all these kind of shows. You learn how you could murder somebody and make it look like a suicide because it's done all the time on television, right? It's like basically primetime programming might as well be like an education. We should be able to get credit. Not that I watch that stuff, but I do watch like the Blacklist and I see it on there from time to time. But we should be able to get like a PhD in murders and suicides and all that kind of stuff because of how much they show it on television, because it's such an easy drama, right? It's such an easy crutch. In the creative world, we call it a crutch, because if you have to go to that extreme just to create drama, then you're not as creative a writer as you could be if you didn't have to go to those places for your drama. So at any rate, to wrap this up, because I'm going to be on tonight as well. We're going to get on tonight, guys. And by the way, if you wanted to make some purchases last night on the IndoctriNATION.shop and you weren't able to, we'll do that again tonight. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate the support from you all. But we got hats back in stock. So the hats that sold out, the We the People hats that sold out last night are back in stock. So if you want to do that, you can go to the IndoctriNATION.shop, obviously, and do that now. But we'll do the thing where we see people, all you flying all over. That was really, really cool on the world map. So no, I'm gonna come in tonight, Nikki. So at any rate, it's we're learning about these things because one wall of the cabal, Saudi Arabia, Q has said Saudi Arabia, Soros, and Rothschild. Okay, Saudi Arabia's been taken care of, and it looks like we're getting a reminder that was taken care of by Trump and Q. The second one to fall is going to be either Soros or the Rothschild. Rothschild is all the banking, Look what's happening with crypto. Look what's happening with the markets. Look what's happening with BlackRock as being exposed as being the owner of much of the media, much of the corporations, much of the pharma, big pharma. Okay, I've got something on that. Yeah, Jim just sent this to me right here, folks, today. BlackRock, they own Pfizer, Merck, AstraZeneca, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, okay? They own Northrop Grumman, KBR, Texas Instruments, Raytheon, Boeing, General Dynamics, Honeywell. Mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, Time Warner, okay? You know who owns BlackRock? Rothschilds, okay? BlackRock and what do you call it? State Street Bank are owners of the Federal Reserve, and that's why we and it's Rothschilds. So that wall's coming down, and also the Soros wall of the triangle is coming down. So, and Vanguard, thank you. Yeah, Vanguard. Misty, if you want to get out of that Vanguard 401k, I can help you with that. If you want to reach out to me, davesned@gmail.com. I have an IRA company that we work with, and also can get you into self-directed, that you could self-direct into a better investment, and also possibly gold and silver if you wanted to do that. But at any rate, please, yeah. And I'm helping people get out of like BlackRock and stuff like that. It's getting into better solutions where their money's not going towards their own demise. And that's what I talk about a lot, right? Is how we're financing our own demise. Okay. So yeah, for those of you who, want to go on the IndoctriNATION.shop and get your holiday shopping done. Those hats are back in stock. You can do that. The We the People hats are really cool, and I'll show that to you. But if you just look at the what we're being directed towards, it's very clear that we're getting some heads up on some things to come. We don't know exactly what that looks like, right? We're still trying to figure that out. And when we do, we'll already have known what the heck was going on, right? And we won't be as surprised. We won't be as shocked. This is the We the People hat. Awesome hat with Sned heads on the right side. And that's the back there. It's like a camo, and then a patch on the side, an American flag patch on the side. Last night I put up the map, and people were flying on all over the place. It was really cool. You'll have to see that tonight. I'll share that. All right, my friends, just wanted to pop on real quick for that, because I expected more tyranny. We got more tyranny from Biden. We got tyranny from Biden in a way that was really pretty pathetic, right? Pretty pathetic. And so so it's Capital One is, I don't like Capital One. I think Capital One's part of the beast. No question. Thank you, Annie girl. We love you too. I love you too. Thanks, Deb. Love you too. Yeah, all vaccine companies owned by the same guy. They're part owners in it. BlackRock is, but primary owners. Hi, Marianne. Yeah, Paul Michaels on Facebook, folks. Love and Light T-shirt. Wish you had it in a sweatshirt. Donna, we do now. We absolutely have Love and Light on a sweatshirt now. That was new because you guys were asking for it. Let me show you. It shouldn't be out. I don't think it's out of stock. See Love and Light Snedheads right there in the sweatshirt. Let me get me out of the way. Right there. Okay. And so if you go to that down there, let me see. Here it is. Love and Light hoodie. And look at all the colors. All right. This is, I got this one coming on the way, actually. I love that one. I think Rob did a great job. And the peace sign makes a Q as well. And I had my shirt on the other day. Actually, and a friend of mine noticed and said, hey, he saw my name. He said, hey, that's you. And he didn't know I did a show. He's the barrister. And he says, wait a minute. He says, that right. He said, that's a Q. You're in the Q, right? It's the looking glass, right? Or the magnifying glass, right? And I'm like, yeah. So we had a great conversation about Q, just from seeing the T-shirt. This is so anyway, my friends. Wanted to share that with you. The 1222, we're looking at, maybe something going down. Don't know. But we're going to talk about Cappy tonight and how Cappy was talking about 1221. And on 1220 and 1221 was the executive order to take away property from those caught in, human rights violations. So, all right, my friends, love you. See you tonight, and glad we had this little time together. Be well. Share this out if you would, if you think somebody would enjoy it, and